I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Peter Hames. He is co-founder and president at Big Health. Peter, wonderful to have you on the show. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we get started, quick note to viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Peter, we know that there's a lot of different apps that are out there that are targeting mental health right now. Where does Big Health sit in this space, and how are you different from other apps that are out there?
Yeah, so Big Health, we're a digital therapeutics company. That is to say that we are taking evidence-based non-drug therapies for mental health, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, traditionally delivered by human therapists, and then fully automating it. So no humans, no coaches, no clinicians. And what that means is we can deliver those therapies as scalably and effectively as drugs. And so an analogy, if you think about this morass of mental health apps that you describe, an analogy I find helpful is to think about pills. You know, I could show you a vitamin and a Xanax. They look roughly the same size, you know, they sort of smell the same, taste the same, but they couldn't be more different. You know, the vitamin plays a very important role in health. It's preventative, it's about keeping you healthy, but it's not a treatment. The Xanax, you know, is a treatment to address a clinical condition. And so you'd expect it to have all of the clinical evidence and safety data of any treatment. And so exactly that same distinction occurs in digital health as well. So when you look at these consumer mental health apps, these mindfulness apps, very valuable, but they're digital vitamins. What we're doing is digital medicine. And I think that analogy of a very similar form factor, but very different purposes, and as a result, very different levels of evidence required, I think helps illustrate the difference.
Okay, so talk to me about the unmet need in mental health care, and how are digital therapeutics filling this gap? So
unfortunately, you know, we live in a society where enormous numbers of people are suffering from mental health problems. I think the most recent estimate is that 1 in 5 Americans, over 50 million Americans, today is suffering from a mental health condition. And you know, the uncomfortable and unfortunate truth is the vast majority of those people will never see a therapist. It is a logistical and economic impossibility. There just aren't enough humans on Earth to train to be therapists to meet that level of need. And so the only other option available to most people is drugs. Great for some people, but for many, insufficient. High-risk medications, not super effective. And so as a result, there's a huge gap, a treatment gap. And so that is the gap that I think digital therapeutics can bridge, which is to provide, you know, effective non-drug therapy like human therapists would, but with the scalability and accessibility of medications.
So now, what do you think the potential is for digital therapeutics over the next 5 years?
We're right at the sort of first or second innings of this very exciting new modality of treatment. And if you look at our fundamentals as an industry, we have, you know, we're as if not more scalable than medications because it's pure software. We have our clinical data is world leading. Like, you know, our products at Big Health are delivering over 70% remission rates in individuals with a clinical condition. So incredibly effective, but incredibly safe. And we know that there's this huge latent need, this big demand, unmet demand from people out in the population who today haven't had access to these evidence-based treatments. And so in 5 years' time, I believe that digital therapeutics companies will be delivering care at the scale of pharma, helping tens, hundreds of millions of people, providing them with the option of evidence-based care alongside medications and human therapy. And as a result, I think we're going to see enormous businesses built, tens of billions of market cap. It really is the next therapeutic technology that I think is going to shape mainstream healthcare.
All right, well, it looks like there's definitely lots to look forward to in the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
Wonderful to talk with you, Peter. Thanks for joining me on Floor Talk.
Thank you.